The Easterlings moved to reinforce the armies of Mordor in preparation for the War of the Ring. However, a small force of elves has been dispatched from Rivendell to intercept these Easterlings before they can link up with the armies of Sauron. Good morning, everyone, and today we have a battle report of the armies of Rhûn, the Easterlings, versus the army of Rivendell, the High Elves. So, today we will be going over that battle and everything within it in this prelude to the War of the Ring. So, before we get started, let's go over the army compositions of each army. So, to start off, with the Easterlings, they have 3 units of Condus sentries making up their front line. These are medium melee infantry that are certainly trained troops, while not veteran soldiers. They will certainly do their job. They are equipped with short swords, shields, and javelins. And they will make up kind of a frontline skirmishing force of this Easterling army. In addition to this, there are 3 elite units of Easterling halberds. These halberds will be quite a pickle for the elves to try and get through, as they will provide an impenetrable phalanx of just steel that will have to be got through in order to crush this Easterling army. In the 3rd rank, there are some runic warlords, another 3 units. This is some medium shock infantry that will attempt to punch through that elven main line, as they have 2-handed weapons that tend to do a lot more damage against infantry. So these are 3 units of runic warlords. And finally, the back line of the Easterling army is made up of 3 units of macemen, wearing the iconic armor worn during the War of the Ring, with the shields and helmets that you're probably familiar with from the 2 towers. And these 3 units of macemen will make up the reserve of this Easterling army. In addition to this, the Easterlings have brought a pretty heavy cavalry force to the field. They have 2 units of Condus horse archers, presumably to be used as scouts and skirmishers during the course of this battle. They are some medium bow cavalry, so they will be able to output some missile damage, along with being able to hold their own in melee combat, as they are equipped with swords, shields, and medium armor. There's another unit of these horse archers in the center, presumably also to act as a scout force and to kind of harass the enemy as they move up. And there is one final unit that makes up their vanguard force, and that is a unit of Wain Rider chariots that are basically Easterling chieftains who are wealthy enough to afford some very expensive armor and chariots that will kind of make up a flanking force for this Easterling army. Along with this, the back line is made up of 1 very elite unit of Bane of the Steppes. This is a unit of nobles from the Kingdom of Rhûn. The Easterlings have brought their nobles to this battle as well. This is a unit of very heavy melee cavalry. As you can see, they are clad in head to toe in armor, and even the horses have armor. So these guys will be able to provide not only just a devastating charge, but with their heavy armor be able to stay in the fight for a long period of time. And finally, the Easterling General is another unit of Wain Rider chiefs who are in the chariots here, with the general being right here in that same kind of heavy armor and chariot. And the total composition of the Easterling force is 1,547 soldiers, so quite a large force being sent from the Kingdom of Rhûn to go reinforce the armies of Sauron. On the other side of the battlefield here, we have the army dispatched by Elrond from Rivendell to kind of intercept this force before it can link up with the main army of Mordor to kind of help protect the peoples of Middle-earth. However, as the elves are now starting to depart the lands of Middle-earth, there are not many left, and so this elvish force, while small, is still quite elite, as these are veterans of countless wars, clad in head-to-toe in heavy armor. So the main line of the elvish force is made up of 6 units of Noldorian swordsmen, a very heavy shock infantry that they will use to try and punch through this Easterling main line. Behind them then is 4 units of very elite Noldorian archers, clad in the same heavy armor, so these archers will also, as they are armed with swords, be able to get into the fray of the fight as well after they have loosed their arrows. And finally, the elves have also brought some cavalry, but in contrast to the Easterlings, they have brought some very heavy cavalry, as they have 4 units of Noldorian horsemen, 2 guarding each flank of their army to provide that 360-degree security. And they will definitely be a problem for the lighter cavalry brought by the Easterlings, as these are very heavily armored horsemen, and they also have shields and long spears that will make them deadly against not just infantry, but other cavalry as well. And finally, the Elvish general is protected by nobles from Rivendell, the guards of Imlauridus, that will protect the general with their life. Here's the Elvish general here, and they are heavily armored with shields and helmets. So without further ado, let's get started with the battle. So at the start of the battle here, we can see both forces are kind of maneuvering their scout forces, as the Easterlings kind of patrol here with their horse archers to make sure that there are no Elvish forces in the area, as the elves kind of push up their cavalry here to kind of scout out and see where this Easterling army is to make sure that they can intercept them before they link up with the forces from Mordor. So while this center maneuvering is happening here between the armies, the main body of the force from Rivendell begins to move up, moving as quickly as they can to make sure that this Easterling force can't outmaneuver them and start moving deeper into Mordor, where they can link up with a larger army that this elven raiding party won't be able to deal with. So as they do this, the runic commander has utilized his scouts, and they have spotted this elvish raiding party incoming, and they have decided to withdraw to a more advantageous position on the hill. So very good choice by the runic general here, because they can just kind of wait the elves out and force them to come to them, because the elves are on a time limit here. Because the longer they stay here, the more likely they are to be intercepted by the main armies of Mordor. They want to be quick about this, quickly destroy the Easterlings, and then get out. So as the main body of the Easterlings withdraws to this more defensible position on the hilltop, the Elvish army will continue to move up, as their cavalry is right now. So as this happens, we're going to put it in a little bit of a fast forward mode here to kind of let the armies get in position. So as you can see now, the runic forces of the Easterlings are taking up that defensive position on the hill. And they have a very strong defensive position here. As we can see, they have their 3 ranks still set up, and their general has cleverly deployed them. Their halberds, they've spread them out to kind of make sure that that heavy defense These halberds will be very hard to get through attacking from the front, so if the elves are going to want to come up this hill, they're going to have to pay for it heavily. They also have those javelin-armed sentries that will probably lay down some covering fire as the elves try and advance. This is a very strong position up here, as they also have their cavalry protecting the flanks. Kind of have a stare down over here as the Easterling chariots kind of can see down here at the Elvish cavalry advancing on them, and the main body of their army is moving up here as well, with the Noldorian archers kind of leading the charge. And it seems like the Elvish cavalry is going to try and sneak up this hill here as they're going into a little bit of a tighter formation to try and avoid detection. Let's see if we can see them up here as the Easterlings. You can see part of them, but as they're kind of guarding in this direction, they probably are unaware of this Elvish cavalry force that is kind of trying to move around here and flank them. Oh, and they seem to have become aware of it as they are moving to engage. And the opening volley of the battle has been fired as some arrows kind of deflect harmlessly off the Elvish horsemen, and the charge begins. So let's ride up with them here and see how this first engagement goes. And it looks like it's going to be a brutal charge by the elves here as the melee begins. Man on man, horse on horse. And we'll see who starts to take casualties here. Oh, there's the first Easterling to die. As the elves begin to kind of cut into their force. And wow, a lot of Easterlings are beginning to fall here. The heavy cavalry of the elves is really putting in work. And it looks like that unit of Easterlings will start to withdraw as the elves try and cut them down as they retreat. It looks like there's a pretty successful first engagement for the elves as they lost no casualties and completely wiped out that Easterling vanguard, so very good for them. Kind of cut down on that numerical advantage that the Easterlings have. And it looks like the opening volleys are being fired here by the Noldorian archers to similar effect as their cavalry counterparts. The Elvish arrows are accurate and penetrating the armor here of the lighter horse archers, as many of them are being gunned down here. And it looks like the Noldorian archers are unfazed as their armor and training kind of is keeping them safe and not very worried about these volleys from their horse archers. And it looks like the unit of horse archers will flee. As we have another cavalry charge over here. The Elvish cavalry continues to push forward as they now engage against the Easterling chariots here at the top of the hill. And it looks like the elves are definitely going to win this skirmish battle here with their archers just cutting down all of these Easterling horsemen. This was more of a massacre than a shootout, as we can see here. We got 23 kills, 56 kills, 35 kills, and 21 kills respectively, while taking no casualties themselves. So these elite elven archers are really devastating this Easterling force, cutting down a couple more guys there. And it looks like the Easterlings have decided that it is not worth being killed en masse on the hill, and they're going to try and use their numerical advantage here to kind of overwhelm the Elvish force here. So we'll see if the force of Rivendell will remain disciplined and won't break against the much numerically superior. And the Elvish archers are going to begin firing on the Easterlings as they advance down the hill. And even though they are raising their shields to protect themselves, the Elvish volleys are proving quite deadly, as many of them are dropping dead here. And another devastating volley, as over half of the unit of Easterlings has now been killed as they lay here dying in the plains of Mordor. So they made this long trip just to just to be hit by an arrow from hundreds of feet away by a elvish archer they can't even see. It looks like this first unit of advancing Easterlings will break and run away. Here comes the Easterling cavalry, who's going to charge directly into the main line. No fear at all of these pointy-eared elves. And the charges on both sides will begin to take place. Let's kind of zoom in here and get the combat firsthand. Oh, and some of the noble elves are beginning to fall here in combat against the Easterling charge. So we'll see who is able to come out on top here as both sides are brandishing two-handed weapons that are quite deadly. Hopefully not taking out any of their friendlies as they wield these large swords around. And yeah, the elves are looking kind of surrounded here, but they are holding their ground against the numerically superior foe. And looks like each elf is being able to cut down multiple enemies before going down themselves. Let's see how long this guy stays alive for. Oh, and he took out another one before he went down himself. So it looks like the elves are starting to kind of be boxed in here. Let's see if their cavalry can kind of clutch up for them here. So the Noldorian horsemen going for another charge, brutally decimating this unit of horse archers. Didn't even stand a chance, as they are kind of massacred here. And the elves are kind of going to have to rely on their horsemen here to carry the day, as their archers try and gun down the General of Rune as he kind of engages here in a fight against the main line. Where is he? Oh, and it looks like the Runic General was killed in the fighting here, probably by an accurate shot from these Noldorian archers. So that will certainly affect the morale. As you can see, some of the less trained troops of their army are already starting to flee. Serving Sauron does not seem to be worth their life, so it looks like the elves are going to go for a back charge here. Let's see if they can rout the enemy. And a devastating back charge as these Easterlings are crushed under the hooves of these horses from Rivendell, and they begin to flee. And another back charge here will probably seal the fate of these other Easterlings here, causing a chain rout. There's one strong unit of halberds here trying to hold the line, but it looks like they will lose heart as well as the rest of their brethren retreat. So a victory for the High Elves there. So in review, the High Elves only deployed 920 soldiers versus the 1,547 from the Easterlings, but the more elite and well-armored Elven force was able to inflict some heavy losses on the Easterlings, as 1,000 of those 1,500 were killed before they ended up withdrawing back to Rune. And while the Elves did win, it was at a cost. They lost 259 of their immortal brethren. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any suggestions for future videos or just helpful comments, please leave them below, and have a great day.